Alright guys, what the heck am I doing? Digging in my pathway. I'll show you what's going on. I'm Katrina and this is Sow and Tare. Today we're going to do something a little different. I have been composting in my pathways for a few years now, since I got wood chips. I get my wood chips from a tree service, and what happens is they have a humongous truck and they need to dump material. If they don't dump it at someone's house and someone can use it, then they have to pay to dump it at a dump. So it's free for us and also free for them. So I've been composting in my walkways for several years. And I'm going to add a component to that this year. Now we have chickens, as you can hear. They've been going all day. There's only 3. And quail and rabbits. And right now we have grow outs for rabbits in our screen and porch in their grow out hutch. And this 5-gallon bucket is from 1 week for 11 grow outs. And I think they just turned 8 weeks old. So that's a lot of manure that is, I've already put a bunch on the beds. I've already put a bunch, where I need it now. So what I'm going to be doing with this manure and with some quail manure later that you'll see is I'm going to be putting it in my pathways. I'm going to dig up the top layer, and you can see there's actually moisture there. I'll show you guys. Still from when it rained a couple months ago. So it holds moisture. It's a good thing. Ouch. So I'm going to be adding this manure to the system, and what that will do is it will help it become compost quicker. And so you'll see what I'm doing is I'm just going to pour it under in a layer, and then I'm going to put the chips over top. At this point right now we have mostly redwood, like the fines, so not necessarily the wood, but it will still break down, and we will have excellent compost in a year or whenever we choose to dig it up. What will happen with this is that I'm planning on putting this in here and then also adding some azomite, and that is a rock dust, and so that will already be in the compost and available to the plants when I use it as a compost. So usually when I do azomite, I add it to the beds, but that is rock dust. The plants can't eat rock dust. The microbes in the soil have to eat it and excrete it in a way that the plants can take it up. Then those micronutrients become available to us. So this is going to skip that step. It's going to make it a faster process when I take this compost, once it becomes compost, and put it on a garden bed. So that's why I'm starting. I'll be adding some other things here. I have big plans for quail, which will be a different video, but they will add to this system as well, and we'll end up with fabulous compost. Now, I already have compost happening on the property right now. We have my version of the racking house. I can sit down. We have my version of the racking house, which the chickens, who you can hear, the chickens actually churn in their own manure and the rabbit manure. And knowing how much comes out of, these baby rabbits in a week, I did not realize that that's how much they were churning in over there. I mean, they do such a good job. And so they are provided with deep bedding, which is very similar to what we have here. Actually, some of it's the same stuff. 8 inches to a foot deep, and they've been churning it because chickens scratch. And so that's what they've been doing, and they've been doing a really good job of it. I need to get more wood chips for them to put in. I think I have a wheelbarrow left of this stuff. I'll probably just toss it in there for them. And at some point we'll be able to sift that out and use it. So that's number 1. Number 2, I have the main quail aviary, and I am the chicken for that. okay? I use a pitchfork and I pitchfork it in. There is no rabbit manure. We could add rabbit manure to that system. It's just I have to be the chicken. Quail do not dig and scratch like chickens do. They do some, but they don't do it like chickens do. Now, I'm working on a system that maybe they can do a little bit more top digging, but I haven't perfected that. I'll share that when or if I think it's working, and get a good system going. But that is a compost. Again, they're on deep litter, and I'm being the chicken. I'm doing the work, and putting that manure into the deep bedding, and that's a compost pile. The thing that's missing from that one is moisture, because quail and chickens don't pee, right? They don't urinate, and that is something that the rabbits contribute to that compost system that the birds can't. So the third compost thing I have on here is I have quail under chickens, and not quail under chickens, no. The third compost system I have here is I have quail under rabbits, and that is in my second aviary, my second quail aviary, and they also are not chickens. So I have to be the chicken and work that in, but it gives basically the same nutrition to the soil, or to the will-be compost, as the chickens, because chicken and quail manure are quite similar. They're a hot manure. They need to be composted down, high in nitrogen. So that is another system that I have on site. Another thing that I have going is I'm already composting in the walkways, and all that means is I put about that much. You know, it looks a lot when you put it down, but then it compacts and all that. I put probably over a foot of you know, stuff from the tree service, and that includes the wood chips, the leaves, the little sticks, and all that. And all of that is necessary to make a really good compost. If you only have wood chips and no greens in there, then it's going to be not as good of a system to break down that compost. So if you have that system, these are greens. So rabbit manure is a it's called rabbit manure is a cold manure, and the bird manure, the chickens and quails, is a hot manure. Hot manure you do not want to use directly on your plants. Cold manure you can. So you can throw this on your garden, and that'll be perfect and good, and you know, it'll break down right there, and give good nutrients to your plants. But I have so much of it that I want to increase the efficiency of my pathway composting right now. Another compost system that I have on the property is vermiculture, and I believe you guys should have already seen that video by now, but up here if you haven't. Vermiculture is worms, so worm compost, and so I do a lot of kitchen scrap compost. That's where your shredded paper goes, and that's how you can use shredded paper in a garden without having shredded paper in your garden, because by the time it gets to your garden, it's not shredded paper. It's worm castings. So that's kind of an overview, and kind of tells you what I'm going to do, and then I'll bring you back in a different video and show you how it's going. I'll probably do another video when I do the quail part and kind of an update of how things are going. And I think this is going to be a really good system and a really good use of this abundance of manure. You know, you buy food to feed your animals, and a lot of it ends up as manure. You know, part of it comes out as meat, and part of it comes out as eggs, and part of it comes out as manure. So if we can find ways to use that manure, that is the best thing to do. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pour it in. I'm going to put some azomite over it, and then I'll cover it up. Alright, so I have a trench I'm going to show you guys briefly. You can see how much moisture is in there. Still pretty wet, and we haven't had rain in over a month. That moisture is going to do good things for compost. Here we go. There's a lot of moisture in here too from the urine, and that'll be good. All right, that's a little smelly, but it's okay. We're gonna cover it up and it's not gonna be smelly at all. All right, guys, that is all there is to it. So that's going to be decomposing, and it's not going to be attracting flies because it's underneath the ground or underneath the layer, and it's going to be good stuff in a little while. So last time I showed you guys this, I forgot to add the azomite, and azomite is that rock dust, and what I'm trying to do here is to cheat the system. The way the minerals that are in this rock dust get into our bodies is they have to go through the microbes. The microbes have to excrete it in a way that the plants can pick up. Once the plants can pick it up, then we can eat it. So it has to go through all of those steps. So when you add this to your garden bed, you're not going to get those results from the plants that year. You're going to get it the next year or the year after. So this way, I'm putting this in with manure and in hopes that the bacteria and the microbes will be breaking it down and excreting it into the goodness of this soil. So when I harvest this compost, it will already have this rich micronutrients in it. So that is my hope, and that's why I'm doing it. Again, stay downwind. I mean, stay upwind, because you don't want to breathe this. There you go. There you go. That is how I'm doing this composting. I hope that you find creative ways to compost in small spaces, and if you're in a small space that you say yes you can. So as I've said before, things get done at night around here because we work. So I am digging in the pathway in the wood chips to put some more rabbit manure in, and you can see all that white stuff. All that white stuff. That is mycorrhizae. So that is mycorrhizal fungus, and they are the ones that bring nutrients from far away to the plants and help them with that. So this is a fungal dominated compost that we're making because it is wood chip based. If it was more like leaf mold and stuff like that, that would be bacterial dominated, but we're gonna have some bacteria in here too, because as you can see, we do have some of these well, they're redwood leaves, but we do have some of that, and then we also have the poo but I thought I'd show you guys that because it's pretty cool and it comes pretty quick. It's really good for your plants. So try and find a use for every waste on your property, and then compost is a good way to do that. So thank you for watching and have a great day.